Hi, everybody.
Look who made it on time.
Time. I mean, he's early. I mean, you were here before I even hit the play button for the intro.
That was amazing.
It
New
was.
year, a new start. Look at that.
I know. I'm pretty impressed. We are waiting for Paul to arrive, but he did confirm that he's coming. Um, so welcome to 2021, you guys. Thank you to everyone who bumped us up over 200. I greatly appreciate it. Sassy, thank you for reaching out to Gem Pops, Umpty, Mama J, especially. Mama J was pushing us all day today. So, thank you guys so much for helping out. I mean, we were sitting stagnant for a little bit there. And now you guys get to see me make a fool out of myself. And some people know what I'm going to be. And thank you, Sarah. Some people know what I'm going to be on an upcoming live, and some of you don't, and so you will have to tune in and find out. But I'm going to make a complete fool of myself for hitting the 200 mark, because that's what we do. And I might even be rivaling Troy and Foxy on what they've done in the past. Just saying. Just saying.
Oh,
Just saying.
Wow. If that doesn't fill a room, if that doesn't bring the crowd in.
Mm-hmm. Y'all have no idea what's under here.
I am surprised. I want to thank everybody, not only for helping us get to the 200. I want to thank everybody for showing back up today. I thought after what I pulled last week, there'd be nobody here. I thought everybody was going to ghost us.
No, we got quite a few in here. And our guest of honor has arrived, so I'm going to add him in. Mr. Paul, how are you?
I'm well. How are you guys?
Good. So how's the weather down in Virginia? Because we're up north. He's in Indiana. I'm in Michigan, and it's freezing.
Oh, okay. It's pretty freezing here, too. No snow, but it's pretty cold. Yeah, it's pretty cold.
Yeah, it was like misting this morning, and so I tried to get out of my street this morning, and there was a glaze of ice on the road, and it was like the whole way down. It was just crazy.
Oh, wow.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Sure. Thank you for having me. Sorry, I was a few minutes running behind there.
Oh, that's okay. I was just amazed that Troy actually got here on time.
I'm always like 10 minutes late, so don't feel bad at all. Like, I'm scheduled every week here, and I still can't pull it off. So
yeah.
Well, let's say hi to everybody in the chat. We've got Cody's here, Sassy's here, HCF is here, Sarah, Umpty. I saw Dead Zone. Sorry you're super tired, my man. Mitch is here. Golden's here. Caitlin's here. Caitlin, what I'm doing is just for you. Just for you, my dear. Tats is here. Trapper is here. Clara's here. LBD, what's going on, buddy? Who else is in here? Mitchie. I think we said Tats. Well, we got quite a few, and they all funnel in. So
cool. So
Paul, I watched your video. Actually, I found you through the Funko website, and when they did the article on you, and then I watched the video. 50,000 views on YouTube. So before we get in your collection, though, I watched your video, and you said you were from Cleveland. So I have to ask, have you ever been to the Christmas Story house?
I have not. I know friends who have, but I always wanted to go, but we never went. You know, it's maybe sometime soon. My parents still live up north, even though we're in Virginia here. So maybe we'll make that a trip.
That's like one of my bucket list items is to do. I redid my whole collection, so I really have no idea. Oh, he's up there. Is the Flocked Ralphie.
Oh, nice.
So that was going to be my next question, is if you had... I watched it, and you went through the movie section, and they kind of glanced over certain parts of it, but I didn't know if you'd actually collected all of the different pops that are from Cleveland, like Christmas Story, or if that's not one of the lines that you collected.
Yeah, I don't have the flocked one. I'm a little jealous. That's awesome that you have it. I just have the regular set. So I have the regular bunny suit Ralphie, the Sheriff Ralphie, and the old man with the lamp leg. Actually, a quick side note: I found Sheriff Ralphie and the old man with the lamp, actually like 6 or 7 of them, back in Cleveland, on my hometown of Ashtabula. In the mall, there was this buy, sell, trade, and this was probably like 3 years ago. I had been into collecting Funko for a couple of years, and I went into this buy, sell, trade, and it was Christmas time, and they had this whole display. They had like 3 Rudolphs, 6 or 7 old man with a leg lamp, and I knew that they were like $50, and they were selling them on sale $9 a piece. And so I asked the guy, I was like, why why do you have how do you have so many of these? And he's like, oh, they've been here for years. Nobody wants them, you know? So I was able to hook up some of my collector friends and
that's awesome.
yeah, and got most of the old man with the leg lamp. So I kept one of them and traded and things of the other ones. And yeah, so I was able to get the Rudolph, the Sheriff Ralphie, and the old man with the leg lamp.
That's one of them I want to get is the old man in the leg lamp. My dad has the full size one, like from the movie, that the tabletop one. I had the desktop one. Hopefully I can get it back at some point, but I had it, and if not, I will get another one. But there is a friend of ours that's usually in here. I don't see her right now, Christina, and she is like obsessed with that. So she's already, called that one in my will that, if anything ever happens to me, she gets the flocked Ralphie. And then you had the Goonies, and but you don't have the Superman T-shirt, Sloth?
No, I don't.
See, that's another one I do have. And I have him and Mouth and Data. And that's the only three that I have. Oh, cool. So I still have to get Chunk and Mouth.
Nice.
Or no, Chunk and Mikey. So those are my goals on finishing that.
Yeah, I was lucky to get when I started collecting, it was around 2015, 2016. And so there was a lot of those 2013 through 15 pops still out there. And I was able to find on a lot of obscure sites too, like just different comic book shops online that were shipping. So I was able to find most of the Goonies set for probably around $10 to $15 a piece, except for Sloth. I did pay. I think I bought him on Mercari, probably like last year, but I was lucky enough to find the other ones. So
I know that you said your favorite one of the Deadpools was the Bob Ross. And yes. That actually, Bob Ross, the character, or Bob Ross pop, was my very first pop. And yours was Hawkeye and the Spider-Man with the Captain America shield. Is that correct?
That's right. Yep. Yeah, a friend of mine, a coworker, gifted me the 2-pack for my birthday right around 2015. So those were the first two.
And then it was just a giant rabbit hole from there?
It was you blame that friend for what has happened since, right?
She blames herself too. I mean, it's a mutual blaming situation. But yeah, so I don't think she or I knew what this would turn into. But if you don't mind me sharing, I think that's a common question that if I'm meeting with someone or we're talking about it, they'll ask, like, how did you get from that to this? Who would want to get from that to this to begin with? But it was really a lot of different variables that factored into it. So one was I really loved them, and I liked the pops, and especially the Marvel pops. So that there was that element to it. I'm a collector and comic book collector and all that kind of stuff. But also I worked at a mental health facility. And I had a good size office and these really nice shelves that were built into the wall, and they had books and papers and all that junk on them. And so I thought to myself, I was like, could I fill this shelf? Because they look so great on these shelves. And so, I was finding clearance sales and all these different deals. And there was an FYE that went out of business near me. And so I was able to pick up a lot of $3 pops, including some Mia Wallace I got for like $3, Pulp Fiction, stuff like that. So I kept finding these deals, and so it just kept going. But plus, back at the mental health agency, a lot of the folks coming in for services and the clients and the kids, they wanted to see them. So they would come into the office, and either before or after their sessions, and they would kind of take a tour and look around. And so it just was this thing that started to build. And people were expecting new pops to come in. Like they were like, what are you going to bring in tomorrow? That kind of thing. So it was a snowball of all these different things. But we really kind of leveraged it as pop therapy in a way at the mental health clinic, where adults and kids and everybody would come in just to look around and just be in it. So it was really neat to see that.
So you also collect as a family, and was that your daughter that was in the video as well? I think she had a purple vest on or something. That's your daughter?
Yes.
Is that your only child, or do you have more?
Only child, one on the way.
Congratulations!
Thank you. In February, but yeah, that's our only daughter.
So if your new baby is born on February 17th, good birthday to share.
Okay. Well, happy soon to be birthday to you.
Yeah. So your wife also is a collector, and you actually pointed out some of those as well. So do you guys actually hunt as a family, or is it more of a thing that you do, mostly, or?
So she would not call herself a collector at all. She it's a love-hate relationship with the collection, as I guess many of us collectors know that have a spouse. She likes some of them, and she has claimed some of them. But I wouldn't say that she's a collector. So she's claimed like the Pretty Woman pops those are her favorite, and various Disney pops and different movies and Gladiator and different things like that. So she's claimed some pops, but she in no way. She'll help me. She'll help me look for things. When we were dating, it was a little bit of a long distance relationship for a little while, and back where she was at in a different place in Ohio, she would hunt for me and find things. And then during the Comic-Cons, and she experienced the craziness of standing in line and waiting and all those sorts of things. So she definitely helps, but she would not call herself a collector.
Does she collect anything?
Not really, no.
No.
If you didn't know before that moment, that was when you couldn't let her go. When she's standing in lines and she's not a collector, to do that for you, you got to hold on.
Yes.
I've been lucky as well. Like, same situation here. Not my girlfriend's not a collector by any means, but for some reason she enjoys buying them for me, or she'll claim a few that are hers, like some music pops.
Something that makes you happy, and
Yeah.
she wants to do that. Yeah, no, absolutely. And we definitely have our moments where it's like, is that another box on the porch, Paul? And so we kind of, there's times where we, aren't on the same page, but that's really one of the things that has been important, is to kind of have a family plan, when it comes to any collection of this kind of a size. And, it's an investment, but it's also, it kind of takes a family. Like, we all have to be on the same page about it, and what's okay, what's not okay, what's the budget. I sell and trade and do a lot of stuff too, and so it kind of, the hobby supports itself in a certain capacity. Even more so now, I collaborate with Mercari, and if you guys are familiar with Mercari, so I do some videos for them, and I do some consulting work, I guess you can say, kind of as an influencer in a way with them. And so, so that's helped, kind of, with the monetary side of things. So.
Awesome. Now, I do have to ask about one. I saw they glanced by the Clockwork Orange pops. Now, is that the very expensive Glow Chase, Alex?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not at all.
I was like, whew.
Yeah.
I got out of box. I was like,
yeah, if I did have him, he would not be out of box. It's one of the questions that usually sometimes if I'm talking to a collector and they've seen the video and they're like, do you have them all out of box? And it's about 70-30, 70% out of box, 30% in box. I probably have about probably closer to 500 pops that are in box. So there's a good amount of them that are in box that are like chases, or more valuable pops, or like my ad icons are in box. A lot of my sports figures are in box too. Anyone that's like a people pop, sometimes it's easier to see who they are if they're in the, because they look the same. And so if it's just like a football, I have a lot of football pops and baseball and basketball. So it's just easier to see who the player is if they're in the box and all that stuff. And some of them are pretty pricey too. So
we got a couple questions from the chat. So Tats79 wants to know, what line of Funko Pops is your favorite?
Oh, all of them. No, I'm kidding. No, so I would say my favorite line is probably Masters of the Universe. Nice. I'm an 80s, early 90s kid, and so I have pretty much all the He-Man pops, except for the super, super rare, like Disco Skeletor and those sorts of ones. But I have the original She-Ra, He-Man, Skeletor, all the recent exclusives, although I'm looking up because that's where they are in here. But that's probably my favorite line.
Yeah, I just opened a box. and I'd forgotten that I had this one. Do you collect the sodas at all?
I have not started that. I haven't. Let's say I haven't opened that can to be a corny pun. I haven't opened that can of worms to go down that route.
Yeah, this shelf over here is my Masters of the Universe. Mitch, that's in the chat, he actually hooked me up with a couple of the Flocked Beastman and the Battle Armor Skeletor, the Gemini exclusive of those. So that was cool. And then I have most of the new ones. Now, are you like us, where we're constantly hitting the drops on the Funko Shop, or are you more of a collector that goes out and like you said, supporting like the comic book shops and things like that?
Both. Yeah, but I kind of have my go-to places. You know, I for exclusives and things like that, I definitely do the Funko drops every Wednesday or whenever they tend to drop. And exclusives, trying to, you know, I follow a lot of the Twitter accounts and Facebook accounts where you get the alerts that, hey, this pop is dropped or it's dropping, and follow the new, like just like everybody else. And I miss out on most of it, and some of it I get, and most of my commons I get from like Hot Topic or Box Lunch during the sales. So Box Lunch Money, Hot Topic, Hot Cash, which is coming up again here in January. So usually throughout the year, based on some of the exclusives that I'll buy, the system has kind of come together where throughout the year I'll buy different exclusives from those two stores, and I'll kind of stack up $5 rewards, which I'll use to buy more of the exclusives and things like that, and then I'll stack up quite a bit of hot cash, and so then I'll use that hot cash when it's time, and so I usually don't pay any more than about $6.50 for common pops for the most part. So in Hot Topic and Box Lunch just tend to get the newest pre-orders first, it seems. I know Books A Million just recently online had a couple different sales for the holidays where it was buy two get one free, and there was like a 15% off coupon floating around. So I ended up getting probably 40 or 50 pops, for $6 a piece. They're all new, like brand new pops that they're still not out yet. We're waiting for them to be released. I think it was up to the 40-year-old virgin, the line that just came out. So stuff like that. So you kind of learn over time, I think, how to do this fiscally responsibly, somewhat, and things like that. Actually, if you don't mind me saying, I see a question from someone that I know. Actually, this person is in our Facebook group. I think silver-haired wolf.
It's Clara. Yeah.
Hello. They're in our Facebook group that we have, Funko Pop fans. But actually, I don't clean the collection, so I've never dusted this. I mean, not that it doesn't really attract that much dust. There's not a lot of traffic down here in my basement. It's kind of a finished basement. So it's just usually me and or if there's somebody shooting the films that we have on our YouTube channel with me or something. But I've never dusted them.
Christina Payne wants to know, do you keep your boxes and how do you store them?
I do. Yes, I do keep all the boxes, and I put them in usually like a Home Depot large or extra large moving style box, and I'll just stack them in there. And then I have a side room here in the basement where I have them organized and labeled. And sometimes I put the actual empty pop boxes in pop protectors. Like if it's a more valuable pop, I'll take it out, but I'll put the empty box, which might sound weird to some people, into a pop protector, and then I just keep that in my side room.
Okay, very cool.
I'm so unorganized. There's no way I could do that. I would start the first day, get like 4 boxes taken care of, and then, I mean, my stuff's falling over on my shelves right now. There's no way I could do that.
It gets out of hand quick, because that was one of the things for the Guinness record that, like, I had to have all this tracked. Like, I have a spreadsheet that I use that even now I keep up to date, and you have to prove to them that you actually have what you say that you have, and it's a pretty detailed process. There's the actual spreadsheet that you have to submit and everything, but then there's the video proof too, where you have to have somebody come out and count everything and video everything, and then they count it on their end, and so you kind of have to know everything that you have, no duplicates. So I've kind of, since I've done that twice, I got the record, then broke my own record. I've kind of kept that up just in case I might want to do it again. I don't know.
So what made you go that route of actually aiming for a Guinness World Record?
How did it happen? I didn't even know there would be a Guinness World Record for Pops. Honestly, it never crossed my mind until about, I think I was like two or 3 years into it, and I had around 3,000 some Pops or something. And it just was this thing at the office that people enjoyed, and it actually helped me through a difficult time in my life too. So that was a variable also, something to kind of take my mind off things that were going on at the time. And so, connecting with other people, the Funko family that everybody talks about, local collectors, and you just kind of develop relationships with people. And there was a friend of mine that they mentioned it to me. They're like, "Hey, I wonder if you have the record." I'm like, "Why would there be a record for this? Like, why would there be a record?" And I looked it up. I've never had been to the Guinness website before. I pulled up the website and searched Funko Pops, and there it was. There was a Funko Pop record. Somebody already had it, and I think the record was 1,000. And
Blew that away.
well, it's not that if you have less than 1,000, it's not a bad thing. But there's a lot of collectors that have over 1,000 Pops. That's not necessarily a unique thing. People just don't know about it. And so at the time I had about 3,000, and when I went to submit, it took a while. It was like probably about an 8-month process the first time, because I was learning how to do it, and then I had to gather everything and organize everything. And I had all the Pops in one location at my office at work. And what I had to do, and hopefully this is interesting to people, but what I had to do was, one, have a spreadsheet for it. Two, I had to get an independent expert to come out and actually do the count on video, and I had to video them doing the count. And so there was a toy store that I had bought from before in Richmond, that I had connected with and talked to some of their folks a couple times, and they agreed to do it. So they came out and they spent the whole day. We had a good time. I videoed them counting the collection, and then I had to submit everything, and there was forms to fill out and stuff. And then they let you know. I think it took another like 2 or 3, maybe 4 months. And there was a lot of back and forth. Like every communication takes like 2 weeks.
Okay.
It would be quicker probably just to mail them a letter. But every time you send them a message, it takes I don't blame them. Like, there's how many hundreds of thousands of records that they're reviewing at any given time. So but they've always been great throughout this whole process. But you send it to them, and then they respond 2 weeks later saying, "Hey, we still need this, or this is missing, or I only counted 205 Pops on that shelf, but they said there was this many. Can you clarify?" Stuff like that.
And then going to the DMV was bad.
Yeah. So it was an interesting process for sure, but it was somebody suggested it. I had not even thought about it.
I was about to say, did you ever, growing up from being a kid did you ever think, oh, I'm going to try to break some kind of record one day, or I'm going to try to be known for this, or it just fell in your lap?
It just kind of fell in my lap. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't targeting a record when I started. I just really enjoyed collecting the Pops, and I still do. And there was just something about, and you guys are collectors, so you probably agree, kind of capturing the essence of a character that you love, or a show or a property or something. And a lot of characters that don't have other figures made for them, it's really good, or probably they won't have any other figures made. It seems like a lot of action figures and different toy lines are focused on like Marvel, DC, Star Wars. That's it. There's not really a lot of other, you're not going to get necessarily a set of a Christmas Story figure. Right. This is kind of unique. And at the time, actually also at the time, it wasn't too inconceivable to kind of collect them all, so to speak. Every line had about 100 and some Pops at the time when I was collecting. And so it was like, yeah, I mean, that's doable. I didn't have an end game in sight. I was like, let's just collect them and see what happens. And it was kind of fun to kind of track some down or find deals, or, all that kind of stuff, trading and selling and trading with people.
It was a blast.
Yeah.
Caitlin, who just hit 1,000 subs on YouTube, and her celebration is coming up this week. Other than Pops, what is the best product that Funko has ever made, and what is the worst?
Oh, that's a cool question. The best product and the worst product. There's probably, in my mind, there's a lot of different products that could go in the worst category. But that's the thing I think about Funko. Like they tried a bunch of things. they started with their Wacky Wobblers, and then they went to, I think it was Funko Force was the next one that looked really strange. But I'm trying to think of the different lines that they've had. Other than Pops, I'm thinking that the mystery minis are probably the next best thing that they've come up with. I know they've won a lot of awards for that, for the minis, and there's just something about that mystery. What are you going to get? And then they're kind of some of the minis, in my opinion, don't look very good at all. A lot of the older ones, I don't really like the look to them, but some of the newer ones are really neat, and like the Nickelodeon or the horror minis and things. Mm-hmm. So I would say that's probably like one of my kind of favorites. I don't really collect minis anymore. I did at one point. I actually collected all the lines at one point. Just so you know, like at the time when I was collecting Pops, I was also doing minis, Dorbs. I probably have almost all the Dorbs still. Mopies, keychains, some Wacky Wobblers that I would find on clearance, in different blocks.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen the blocks, Funko blocks, the pint-sized heroes, the Pez, the vinyl, like all of it. Like I would find on clearance, I wouldn't buy it right out of the gate because that would be, but I would have to say the worst was probably the Funko Force. Yeah,
those are the originals. I haven't even seen one of those like on an eBay or Mercari or anywhere.
No.
So either people are holding on to them or they just weren't desirable enough to keep, which is interesting.
Who knows? Yeah. I mean, the Mopies are kind of an acquired taste. I don't know if you guys have any Mopies. It's like the little plush figures that they look sad. Mm-hmm. They're moping, I guess. They're so it's like a combination, I think, anyway, of moping and cute. Like, so they're moping cute characters. So I have almost all of those Mopies, and I found a lot of that stuff just on clearance, like an FYE and Hot Topic and GameStop. I got a lot of my Dorbs at GameStop in their $1 clearance bins, Hikaris, the original vinyl idols. I don't know if you guys know the idols.
Oh yeah.
So I have a complete common set of the vinyl idols that I found. Like I would scour. I mean, it was a lot of. I mean, you guys know it's a lot of work to collect and find different things. But when you hit that eureka, you find that GameStop that has the Stan Lee vinyl idol for $2, and you go there and you get it. There's that like feeling of victory.
Yeah, it's an amazing rush when you can get certain stuff that you just don't think you can obtain.
Yeah.
So I don't know anything about this, and you're welcome to say I don't want to discuss this. Question for Paul: did you see Top Pop's video and it was taken down because of all the hate he was getting? Was there some sort of I don't know anything about it.
Was it what video did he do? Was it about the Guinness?
Yeah, I think he was talking. I guess it was like a reaction video to yours, I believe.
Oh no, I didn't know he did that. The only one that I saw, I've watched his. I know of him. I've never met him before, but I've seen some of his videos, and he has a pretty big following, which is great. But it's interesting that you bring that up because I heard somebody say something about somebody had asked me, did you see Top Pop's video? And I searched for it, and it didn't show up anywhere. So I kind of forgot about it. So I've never seen, I don't know what that is. There was somebody else did a reaction video too. And it was like right after the record had dropped, and it was like a couple of days later. And I was pulling up I typed in the Guinness because I was pulling up the site to kind of look up the lady that did the article on me, Rachel Gluck, did a really nice job. And so I wanted to find her info to thank her. And I pulled up the Guinness info, and then like the video, like different videos attached to Guinness pulled up. And there was this guy, I think his name is Skittle Rampage or something like that. I don't know anything about him. So then I told my wife, I was like, this guy just did a video about my video. I was like, how cool is that? I was like, this is really neat. But I don't know what do you mind telling me more about that Top Pops video? What
Golden, do you have any more information?
Yeah, I had no idea about it either.
No, I mean, I'll be honest with you. When I read it on the Funko website, I was like, I thought Top Pops had like the biggest collection. So it was actually refreshing to find out that he didn't, because, and that there was someone else. And then I was going back through his videos because I was like, how is this possible? Or did he just not submit in, the process?
Yeah.
And he's only like between 2,000 and 3,000, I think, right now. He's not anywhere near where you're at. And I'm sure, I mean, the 5306 or whatever that they had listed, or 5603, I may have it wrong. I can pull up I actually have the screenshot of it. So here's this.
Hey, Michael. Hope everything's going well, brother.
Hey, Michael.
Yeah, thanks for stopping by.
So this is so you were 5306. Now, I'm assuming you've blown that completely away.
So you know what? I don't know. I actually don't know. I sold about probably 500 or 600 pops. We recently moved and we bought a house recently. So this was probably about 7-8 months ago. It was before the pandemic. And so I downsized. It was the same toy store that came out and did the record count. I had I posted a bunch of stuff on Facebook Marketplace to sell, and I'm friends with the owner, and he one of his people messaged me and was like, "Hey, we'll take the whole lot."
Oh, wow.
They gave me a good deal, and I was basically downsizing my anime because I had a lot of the older anime lines, and I'm not really into anime. I just was again collecting for kind of completionist and finding deals and things. So like anime and video games, and my wife would kill me if I started to get into video games. So I'm not really a gamer. So just video games and all that kind, and anime mostly. So it was about 500 or 600 pops, different variants like gold, chrome, and over time I just was kind of shedding different pops that it's like, what do I need this for? Like, I don't really need any of it, but what do I need this? They're just in a different pose. No, we'll get rid of it. So I was starting to downsize. So I got rid of about 500-600 pops, but I had kept collecting. So I probably have acquired that many, if not more. So I'm probably right around, if not a little bit higher right now, but I don't know for sure.
Excuse me. Another question is, hey, Paul, with that many pops, I'm sure you probably hold the record for Funko Pop tees too. Do you have a lot of the tees as well?
I have some of them. I try to wear them in like any of my YouTube videos. I try to wear a different tee or something like that. That was also a line I was collecting because I found quite a few tees for like $4 a piece at Target. At the time they were on clearance, and they just were sitting there. And so I was finding a lot of large, extra large tees sitting around. So I was able to get a bunch of those, and just in the subscription boxes, as you guys know, there's usually a t-shirt in the subscription boxes. So I did a lot of those. And so I probably have about maybe 25 or 30 t-shirts. Definitely not the most, I'm sure. But
let's see if this pops up. It's trying to pop up. Golden sent me some more info.
The problem with those t-shirts is they take up the closet. You think you have plenty of clothes.
Yeah, they do.
You go out on a nice date or something, and you're going through, and you're like,
can't wear this.
Never mind. The one good there's only one nice shirt, and it has wrinkles. I'm in trouble. Like, yeah, can't do the tee. I mean, I like some of the tees, but I got to make sure I keep. I only collect so much.
So, what was your like sub count? Because you did videos before the record, and then what did your sub count go to when it launched this whole Guinness? Did you like explode overnight and get 300 or 400 subs, or?
So I didn't do anything with YouTube actually before the record.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
No, and actually I didn't do anything with YouTube until the second time I attempted the record. So the first time I attempted the record was probably about almost 2 years now ago, and it was 4,300 was the record at that time. And so then when I wanted to get over 5,000 just to kind of solidify a higher number at some point, and so then I attempted it again, and that was I was able to do it just in time as I was collaborating with Guinness and some of their team. I was able to do it just in time before they had to submit their stuff to get into the book, the 2021 book. And so that's why it's the 5,000 number, not the 4,000 number. But actually, I just started my YouTube channel 3 months ago. It was about 3 months ago. And so over that 3 months, recently there's been a little bit of a bump. I think I'm around about 600 subs or so.
Yeah, I think you were a little over 600 when I checked right before the show.
Yeah, and anyone that I appreciate anybody. Like if I had 5 people, that's fine too. Like it's you guys know this. You don't want to neglect or take for granted the people you have that you're connecting with for the people that you don't even know exist. You want to make sure that you're catering to and connecting with who you have, and that's what's important. And if it's good content, then it'll grow. And so I've been blessed. I'm lucky to I'm finding that I haven't done any videos lately, but I'm starting to see people kind of find me now, and it's kind of a snowball effect. So that kind of starting to happen a little bit, but I'm looking to put out some more videos soon, and maybe do like a 2021 updated tour of the collection, because it looks completely different than it did from the Guinness video.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting you to even answer me, honestly. I expected you to kind of be untouchable, and because you've become like a mini superstar in the community, and so I was pleasantly surprised that you answered me. And
we were shocked and super excited. Definitely.
Yes, very excited.
Oh, no, I was honored that you reached out for it. I mean, that's what I mean. Like, I'm not any better than anybody else. Like, I don't think there's a person I haven't responded back to. Every single person that reaches out, I connect with them. Like, that's the whole point of being a collector and being a part of the community. This was never about being greater than or my collection is not better than anybody else's. I mean, you have 2 pops that I would love to have that I don't
right.
If you ever want to get rid of them.
Before we jump onto this that we're gonna probably dive pretty deep into, Michael in here, Wide World of Gamers, had a question. It was if there was one pop you can add to your collection you don't have, what would it be?
Right now, I think it would be Dr. Teeth from the Muppets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I almost have a complete Muppet set. I have a complete Sesame Street set, which is really that's probably one of my favorite lines, the Muppets and the Sesame Street. I was able to pick up a Gonzo recently, and I'm missing Dr. Teeth and the Sam the Eagle. Those are the 2 I'm missing.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, I've been pretty much a completionist on the Mandalorian line. I have a minor obsession with Baby Yoda.
That's awesome,
if you will. But yes, I have a minor obsession with him, and then I have the next line. See, like my first year, and I've only been collecting just a little over a year, and I'm at 500.
Wow.
You just slow my roll, because I don't have the gift that you have of finding them so cheap. So I'm usually on the drops or in Hot Topic, and something is coming out that day, and I have to get in line to go get it. Cool. But I've really gotten into the retro toy line, and like you said, you're an 80s kid. I was born in 77, so like the retro toys, I have all of the Transformers except for Megatron, which is coming of the new line. I don't have any of the old ones, and Star Wars I'm a little bit into. I got into Ad Icons first, which is where I was trying to go, and then I just realized there's no way I could keep up with that line whatsoever.
Yeah, all the metallic and the scented and the flocked, and like that's where it goes off the rails for me.
Right.
Too.
So do you collect anything that comes out, or is it just are you like kind of getting to the point where you're limiting it down? Because I know you had like the NASCAR, you had the wrestlers, you had the sports, your sports figures, and you have a ton of movie lines, but you had a lot of like Harry Potter, like you said, the Marvels all categorized. So are you limiting yourself to certain lines now, or are you still, if you can find a good deal, you're going to grab it anyway?
It depends. Like I don't like, let's say if I was at a store and there's like a really sought after like anime pop. I'm not really into anime except for Dragon Ball. I have a lot of Dragon Ball Z pops. But if there's like a Mr. Compressed or something, let's say there was a like that recently came out in which I don't even know who he is or what I don't even know anything about it. But I know a lot of people like that pop in the forums. They're talking about different things, and so. I had a chance, well, not being in store, but as an example, like I was lucky enough to get one of the invites to buy those pops when they came out on the Funko shop. So I got the email that, hey, you can spend your money, you give us your money, basically. And so I got that email. And so I passed up on that one. There's so many of them I passed up on because I wasn't interested in. I could have bought it, I guess, for $15 and flipped it. But I tend not to do that. The only way or reasons why I would buy multiples, there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, I know some people sour on that and stuff. And I mean, if people are only in it for making money, then that's kind of a crappy thing. But, there's the only reason why I would buy multiples is just to make sure I get good box condition, and I've recently stopped doing it and I regret it now because I recently got some Target orders. I ordered the Target Bumblebee and the Metalhead from the retro lines. Right. Mm-hmm. And they both came smashed to heck. And I'm like, I should have ordered 2 because then I can just return the smash, whatever with the smashed one. So now I have to do all, run around and return it and find it. And I was able to find a good metal head, but that's usually the only situation where I'd buy multiples.
This one I actually got from Funko Shop, and it's the
cool
Iron Man.
Nice.
And this box is just destroyed. If I can get the glare on it just right, but there's a big, huge crease there. And I guess the ones that I have are I intend to keep. The mystery box ones are usually the ones that I decide to flip if I'm going to do anything or sell off, or I have now an entire shelf of giveaways. Someone is going to win a mystery box tonight. Cool. And but yeah, the Bumblebee, that was my very first Transformer when I was a kid. My mom bought it for me, and so I had to have that pop. Speaking of pops, though, has Funko reached out to you at all? I saw that there was kind of a grassroots movement to get them to make a pop of you.
Yeah.
Have they reached out to you at all, or is there any interest, or have you reached out to them about the possibility of making you into a pop?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So that I guess you could say grassroots. It was just me that was kind of trying to make it happen, right? So once it became like, okay, here's the record. Like I've had to do a ton of advocacy to kind of make some of these things happen. So it was awesome to get the record and have it, and that was I really am honored and have enjoyed that experience. It took a lot of advocacy to kind of connect with Guinness and find the right person and connect with them. LinkedIn is your friend. I just will say that. But like to connect with the right people at certain organizations. And I had to advocate to first get the record into the book, because not all, like only a small fraction of the records actually get into the book. And then for it to be into the book, I think they gave me a free book, which is cool. But I think I'm in like half the page. The record's like half the page, which is really cool. So that took advocacy to kind of push that through. And then to get a video made, I saw the video of there's someone in the world that has the largest video game collection, and there's a YouTube video about it, and it's really neat. I mean, he has almost a complete collection of every single video game ever. And Guinness came out, or they shot a video. It was a Guinness video, and I was like, that would be so cool. Maybe they would want to do that with these, right? Mm-hmm. But since they're out of box and the way they look and everything, so I had to advocate for that too, because that wasn't a gimme. I kind of pitched that idea to them, and I got connected with their marketing person, and we talked it through, and I was like, would this be something you guys want to do? And so apparently they decided they did, and we set it up, and Guinness sent out a crew from the UK, and they came out here to my house, and it was like a 9-hour photo shoot. And it was really fun. And we did that tour, and we did that video, and had some pizza, and it was pretty neat. But with Funko, the same thing. I've had to reach out. I'm connected with like the Funko president and other Funko folks on LinkedIn, and so there was a mention of like, congrats to this person that has this record nobody knew existed, and so I've had to reach out to them. So I reached out to the president, and then he directed me to the marketing person, and so it's kind of like you get bounced around a little bit. But then I was finally able to connect with Hillary, who's in their marketing department, who has been great to work with. And then that's how we were able I connected with her to talk about some ideas. And then that's how we were able, they did the Fanatic of the Month, which was cool. And then I did a little video for them for the Fun TV episode. Mm-hmm. It was like the 3rd episode or something. So I did a little video there for them. And so we're still in talks about stuff. So, it's what I'm trying to pitch to them, because I want to make it worth their while too, because I don't care if anyone else wants a pop of me. I just do. Do. It's just something that, why not, right? I mean, it would be cool. And nobody else has to like it or want it. Like, I don't really care. But I'm trying to pitch to them a Guinness line, not just like a me pop or something, but a Guinness World Record line.
That would be very cool.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like, connecting with Guinness, connecting with Funko. Guinness is on board. They're on board with it. And so, the holidays were happening, and so we're going to get back in touch after the holidays. And so I've kind of been the one trying to pull these strings together, behind the scenes. Nobody has kind of come to me and saying, we love what this has been, let's do this with it. it's really been a lot of pushing and advocating and kind of suggesting, and how about this, and could we do this? And
It couldn't go wrong. I mean, if they make a pop of you, the marketing, I mean, it sells itself, because then people are gonna be like, wait a minute, if I own the most pops and have a world record, they're gonna make a pop of me. Your sales go through the roof.
right.
There it is. Like,
Yeah, you would think. I mean, they've made I think they've made a lot worse pops.
that's what I was about to say. They have made way worse pops. So
So we'll see. I think it would be cool, not only just for me as a pop, but also like the some of the other record holders. That like the longest nails person, or the just, there's a lot of cool things I think we could do. So that
transform into awesome pops. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's a worldwide stage at that point. So that's where the marketing comes into play, and kind of making it worthwhile for everybody. And so who knows what'll happen? If they make it, that would be great.
Claire said she'd buy it, and she wants you to autograph it. And Michael actually had a great idea: is make the pop limited edition to the number of pops in the world record. So whatever number that you have at that time, that they would only do that many pops. I mean, that would, because there's people that'll collect just because they think it's going to be valuable, and then there's people that are going to collect it because they've either met you, they know you, they just think it's very cool that you have this. I mean, you holding the little Guinness World Record in the frame, that would be awesome.
Yeah,
yeah, that'd be cool.
Can you imagine not only being made into a Funko Pop, but a limited edition numbered Funko Pop? Yeah. That's a great idea. We got to make that happen. I'd buy one.
Cool. Done.
Done. There you go.
$5.
We're gonna have to schedule you for a signing, because you're just gonna have to sign all of them. When we get our orders in, we're gonna ship you the boxes. We need a signing, maybe a V shout.
Yeah. No, that would be fun. That would be really fun. Yeah. So if something like that happens, I did just get contacted by it was kind of odd. I think it's a marketing company. I'm blanking on the name right now, from in Hong Kong or something, and they wanted to do some sort of a hoopla. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to be traveling right now. That doesn't seem like a good idea.
Now, since you were the 80s, 90s, were you into Garbage Pail Kids, and have you gotten down this, because certain people, have gotten down the rabbit hole of the sports cards and the Garbage Pail Kids that have come out, the new line, the Chromes. Have you gotten into any of that at all?
I don't know if it was my internet. You broke up a little bit for me. I'm sorry. I heard the Garbage Pail Kids. Was there something before that?
Oh, the sports cards thing that everybody's back into now.
Oh, no. I see a lot of people look into Pokemon and sports cards. I haven't. I actually just recently picked up a couple Marvel Legends. I don't know if you guys some of those figures, the articulated figures. So I've never really gotten into action figures, but I came across them on clearance. So it's like that's the most dangerous thing that could happen.
Don't find sports cards on clearance, or you're in trouble. I'm telling you right now.
I have a sports card, since I was in middle school and high school and stuff.
Now,
comic books,
as far as
sports cards, we
comic book. How many comic books do you have? Are we breaking up?
Yeah, I think can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we got you now.
Okay, cool. Sorry about that. That might be my internet. I think I have probably like 11 or 12,000 comics, something like that. Whew. Yeah, about 30 some long boxes. I mean, I still collect some comics. I'm not as into it as I used to be, but we used to go to, like, my dad and some friends, and like we used to go to card shows and comic shows, and it was probably during the 90s, like Death of Superman, and around that time, where people were like buying. My dad was one of those people. He bought like, I don't know, 15 Return of Superman, Death of Superman comic books, and of course you can find them laying in the street now, but
those were the good times of comic books right there. The stories weren't terrible.
No.
But I mean, I guess when you made
99 a comic book either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot of like the Valiant #1s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
Those don't even make good toilet paper. What XO?
The chrome cover.
Yeah.
I mean,
You gotta love the chrome covers.
I have some older ones, like they're not. None of them are worth anything. I had Discovery Bay Comics on a show, not on CTV, my previous show, and I picked out the ones that I thought were going to be worth something. And he's like, "Yeah, no, you don't have anything there." And I had the whole Superman from the storylines leading up to his death, throughout his death, and then him coming back. I had all of them, and he's like, "Yeah, no."
Don't worry. The reason you thought they might be worth something is why they're not. Because everybody at that time thought they would be worth something, bought them all up, and there was millions and millions of copies.
Yeah. That during that time, the 90s, I think it was the highest print run. Like that was also when Image started, and you had Valiant, Image that really started. So there's like really, really into the millions print runs for a lot of that stuff.
Yeah. The stuff that looks cool or is shiny, like I had like an Iron Man. My first ever comic was like an Iron Man. I can't remember the issue number, but it was a complete like chrome type cover. It was like issue 500 or 800 or something, some special. But it was just like from that point forward, I knew I was like, yep, these ones are not going to be worth much. But
yeah,
oh well. Some of the stories are great though. What ifs are really good. I seen you pull a what if. Some of those are pretty cool.
Hang on 1 second. I'm gonna pull one of his videos here for the giveaway.
Yeah, I'll be sliding over there. I've not seen your channel yet, so I will be dropping a sub and checking out some of those because I want to look through and see some of that collection.
Well, I actually,
cool.
The one I found interesting was one where it says, "Do not buy another Funko Pop," and I was like, "Wait a second, is he getting out of it?" And then to go into that, so that's what I just linked there is that one, and we'll just go in there and put, let's see, what would you want? What do you want us to have for a comment for that? Road to 6,000.
Yeah, that's cool.
Road to 6,000.
Yeah, Road to 6,000.
All right, so I just linked a one of his videos, and it says don't ever or don't buy another one of these, or don't buy another pop. And let me put that back in again. And if you go over there and comment Road to 6,000, I'm going to give away a mystery box. You guys saw, or you should have seen, on Clara's Live over the weekend, I pulled open a box of Bambox, the fire sale. I have all kinds of things. I have an extra set of the Back to the Future Nano cars. We've got autograph stuff. We've got pops. So I'm going to do a nice mystery box for everybody who helped to get us over the submark today. We're still baby. We're like a third of you. We're 18 shows in, and we just went over 200.
That's cool. No, I'll make sure. I don't know if I've subbed yet. I think I may have, but I'm going to confirm that because I'll make sure I do too as well.
But yeah, we got some cool things. Do you know who Cletus Eldon is?
I do. Yeah, he's actually going to be. We're going to be doing an interview with him earlier this year.
So I was talking to him today because I was a little frustrated because there was this new kid on the block, boxer, that is getting a pop made that I saw on Funkos, and I said something in the chat that I said, what about Cletus, because he was in the film, and he's worn the logo on his boxers, and he was a huge collector. And I know he's kind of gotten out of Funkos. He still has some of his grails. Yeah. But I reached out to him and I said, "Hey, I'm sorry if you got any flack," and I had tagged his name in there. But I thought it was important, just as I think it is you, as these people who are supporting Funko and who have kind of given them a name and a face and I guess heart, if you will. I think he was one of the first people that I watched when I went to watch him buy his Alex. And I think you deserve one for having the record. I think he deserves one for being one of the first main faces of it. And so I was a little frustrated that he hadn't, and I reached out to him like, "Hey, I'm sorry," because I've had him on before. He's absolutely fantastic to talk to. He's all over the place, so it'll be a fun interview, I promise. I mean, he's a very good guy. He's the people either love him or hate him, and I adore him. He's always been very sweet and very down to earth with me. So
I'm not sure how I feel about him. I think me and him should just take a trip to Vegas and then we'll know. Then we'll know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Just don't get into a ring. If you
I'm
get
dumb enough. I mean, I guess I could be a punching bag. Depends what's in it for me.
yeah.
So we'll give you guys a couple more seconds to get over there. I want to be on time for Mama J's show. Mama J is doing something amazing tonight. She's got some new announcements, brand new year. They're on right after us on 9 tonight. They are on Mama J's channel. We'll go ahead and bring that
I'm
up.
seeing the comments pop up on my phone. I'm seeing the alerts that people are commenting. So it's happening, which is cool. That's awesome. I've never even thought about that before. Kind of linking another channel, and that's really cool.
Yeah, so well, actually, Michael that was in here, Michael has exponentially grown since I first met him, and he was like under 200 or 300 when we first met him, and now he's like 1,700 or something insane.
Cool.
So yeah, it's nice because you know it gets people over to your channel, you know, gives them a link to get over there, and also that you'll grab some subs, and like I told you, there's a lot of people that were interested to see what you were gonna say. So tonight, how this all happened. So
that's cool. Yeah, no, I'm honored that people were gonna spend the time to listen to me and to kind of talk with you guys. It's really neat.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. Both of us were definitely looking forward to this one. For like the past month and a half, we've had some really great lineups, and we're like, man, like I can't wait for this one. But then we're like, what are we gonna do when these ones are over? We have like it's so stacked, but you know what? Then we come back and I love the hangout shows too. Like, you know, it's nice to meet new people, and then it's nice to switch it up and bring people on that like you've started with. Like you were saying, like, you know, even staying at 600 subs or something like that, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like our 200, I love it because I know each and every person that posts in the chat. Like it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, you can have someone that has, you know, 100,000 subscribers, but they never respond to anybody. You know, it's not really, at that point, it's not about, you know, they're not doing it for the people, they're doing it for themselves.
The people that are here tonight are the people that you know, like, care, and that have been, most of them have been here since day one with us on this channel. And if you go back, Paul, and look at some of our early ones, we actually started doing we've kind of morphed a little bit, but we actually started off with a very kind of strict schedule, and it was always a collectible, like the Ninja Turtles or My Pet Monster and things like that. And we did Dino Riders and all this. So we were, and we're going to go back to some of that, and Troy and I kind of talked about it, and we're going to go back to some of that. We really want to keep that nostalgia going because that's kind of what we built this show to be around. But we've kind of morphed it over the past couple of weeks to just have some fun for the holidays and things like that. So, all right. So I'm about to cut this off, guys, because we got to get you guys over to Mama J's. We got 19 comments. So, all right. Good luck to everybody.
Good luck. Who is it? Is it Mitch again? Oh,
Mrs. Slapshot Pops. Congratulations. So, if she's in here or Slapshot, one of you guys, I don't know if I still have your address, so make sure that you shoot me your address. I'll put you guys together a nice little box of collectibles and things here. And Paul, thank you again. I appreciate it so very much that you took the time to come and talk to us. And I wish you the best of luck. And I hope you retain that title. And you better let me know if they do decide to do that pop of you, because I'll be one of the first ones in line.
Everyone in the chat, we gotta send a message. We gotta get a pop.
Yes.
They gotta make it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. This was really fun, and it's nice to meet both of you. And thank you for everybody that was on here. And you know, a lot more connecting and collecting to come.
Absolutely. All right, guys, join us next week. We got What the Pop, Emin Steeler coming on. And the week after that, we have Cody from Popular Opinion. We're going to talk about his Wheel of Misfortune and some of the fun things he's been doing. You guys have a great night, everybody.